to introduce you to our workshop leaders this morning. Our Lieutenant Governor of Marketing, Advanced Communicator Bronze, Advanced Leader Silver, Mr. Steve Templeton. Today is our District 13 Treasurer, Advanced Communicator Silver, Advanced Leader Bronze, Bradley.
Yeah, it was a cold walk over here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why don't we just stand up and stretch and just get warmed up. Everybody stand up and just stretch. Any weights? I like to do a little weight action for any weights along there.
You're going to have to sing, Steve.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, well.
Can you introduce what we're
Okay, everybody sit down. Presentation.
Come back to later on today and you'll see
the third session. We'll have it down by the third session. Well, this program is about membership and marketing, and it's really all about you. And what we want to do is make this the best session that we can for you. So we want you to interact and participate in the session. And I thought about a title for the session, and I thought about how to say it when words matter, because words do matter. Would you agree? Words matter. How we say things matters. How we talk to people, how we ask people things really matters. So today, our presentation is titled, How to Say It When Words Matter. And Ed, you want to go over the 3 points we want to hit on today?
Yeah, we stole this idea, or was given this idea from Angela, who's not here today because of, I think she's afraid of the traveling in the snow, and I think she comes from far away.
Yeah, State College.
So she didn't want to take that risk. But what she had, I believe she had presented this at her club, and she entitled it, Get 'em, Engage 'em, and Keep 'em. And as this program was, I guess, semi-designed by Russell, as he said this morning, it kind of wanted the whole day to cover the aspects of the Distinguished Club program. And each piece that you see today will cover some aspects of that. We're not going to necessarily tell you all of, that's not just what we're here for, but everything you do in the club kind of goes towards that Distinguished Club program. That's why they have that. Because if you fulfill all those, you're probably going to have a successful club, or most likely you will have a successful club. So basically, as I said, as we're talking here today, we're talking about marketing and public relations, and that is the get 'em part. You need to figure out how to get people to your clubs. Steve and I don't have experience, personally, I don't think we do, as far as being in a corporate club. So we'll definitely need some ideas and sharing of information from people that are in corporate clubs, because it's certainly a different realm of the open to the public clubs. So either way, you still need to market it, whether you're corporate or public, to obviously get people to your club so you have a sustainable club.
Let me just throw it out to the group. Just some examples and some ideas about how you get people to your clubs. How do you get people to come to your club?
Open house is one way.
Open house. Open house is a great idea. Open house.
At Templeton open house, unless you can't do otherwise, don't do it on a day that there's going to be a blizzard like I did last year.
Linda.
Website.
Website, absolutely. And there's a couple different websites that Toastmasters can use, I understand, correct? Free Toast, and Google, and I believe there's another one now. So there's 3 different options. Yes?
I use LinkedIn. I join various community groups, social groups within the Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania region, and periodically post. We're having a meeting and try to hit some topic that might be important and catch the eye.
And Joe Arnold just shared this with me. He's part of the Aspenwall Club. They printed a bookmark, and Where could you put this bookmark?
In the library.
In a library. Under what? Gardening books?
At
Public
front
speaking books. Wow, that's a good idea. You want to pass that around? What else? How else do people get?
We put out the flyers with the little tear-off tabs at the bottom.
Okay.
Put them in restaurants around the area.
Okay, restaurants. That's a great idea.
Those flyers can be found on the district website. There's a link to those. Basically, all the information is there, except for you just have to open up the program and change, of course, the contact information to your information. But it's, I think there's 4 different posters on there. Print them out, stick them to a bulletin board, wherever you think's best for you. Yes, sir.
Another one, and we put it on care of Nate's suggestion a few years ago, is health clubs. People are working on their bodies. They might be willing to work on their minds and their skills.
Good idea.
Good idea.
Trevor?
Now, from a corporate standpoint, we've networked with other clubs within Bayer and worked with them. We've got their members are now members of our clubs and vice versa. We also worked with the HR group, and also I happen to be friends with someone who has a college new hire program. And in all their packets, they're including our flyers.
Corporate clubs also, if you happen to have a corporate internal newsletter, make sure to be posting your meeting times there. And some corporations post, welcome to the company, so-and-so, Sue Jones joins the company, then a specific Toastmaster will make a personal invitation to Sue Jones to come to the meeting.
Okay, we have a gentleman who's part of our club who does speech class. And then as a result of speech class, members come to our club, people join our club because of it.
And this speech craft, I believe, those are Toastmasters programs, is that correct? And what a speech craft is, what you said, is an educational session basically for the general public, again, however you market it, but to get people there as kind of like a one-night stand.
3 days.
Is it what, 3
3 weeks or something of that nature.
Okay, yeah, I haven't done it myself, so I'm not sure the details, but it's, yeah, to get people, they see that, oh, I'll go to this class for a couple nights, and then hopefully you actually promote Toastmasters during that. You're getting the experience as far as being up there in front of the crowd, so it's a benefit, it's part of the educational program. And then I think it's part of your maybe ACS, or it can be. And then hopefully you get a good crowd, and those people will want to continue on. They'll hopefully become members of your club.
We've had people join, but then we've also had other clubs form because of this.
All right, wow.
I wanted to throw out the million-dollar question. Million-dollar question here. What do you think is the most effective way of just getting people to your club?
Face-to-face?
Face-to-face. Yeah, face-to-face. A personal invitation, a personal testimony. Come with me to the club, and talking about your experience. And anybody else want to share a personal experience like that?
I was going to say the best way we have, it's a corporate club, is having good content.
Good content.
You got to have a good quality thing that you're benefiting them. It's not about building the club, it's about building you as an employee. It's about building you as a leader. And that's what we sell. And if you can get people high enough up in the company, like we do, the president, whatever, they tout it. They're like, you know what, if you want to be a leader, spend some time in Toastmasters. If you know someone in your HR department, have them added at the bottom of, the educational requirements, and it says, if you speak a second language, that's helpful. If you've completed Toastmasters, that's helpful, and it just puts that thought in the mind of the employees that, hey, this is looked at favorably.
Amy, that was a perfect segue, because that's about engaging them, and that leads right into our next section. Based on time, we got to go to engage them. So we were just talking about getting them, now we're talking about engaging them. Thank you, Amy, for segueing us into that. And Ed, you want to take it from there?
Not if I have to dance. Don't be messing with that dance music while I'm getting ready to go. But okay, yes, engage them. You've gotten somebody to a meeting. You have guests that happen to arrive to a meeting. How do you engage them? as a general rule, we want to have, as far as your club, you need to know what you're doing yourselves as far as an agenda, having those roles completely filled, and if somebody doesn't show up, making sure people do complete those roles or somebody fills in for somebody else, so you have a good standard meeting that has good flow to it. Everybody that's a member knows it, so when somebody comes as a guest, it looks like a well-run organization. Again, think back to any time that when you first came to your meeting or any other organization you might have gone to. If you come to a meeting and there's a lot of delays and people seem disinterested, you're going to pick up on those vibes and not want to join. So think of that as you go through your meeting. You're the president of the club and the Toastmaster of the night to try to bring energy to that club. So.
And I want to take a step back, Ed. I wanted to just point out, these are for you to take with you. These are for getting them to the club, to get them there. You can drop these on the bulletin board, at your library, at your local stores, wherever you visit. Put your name on it, put your president's name on it, your treasurer's name, you can put my name on it. So somebody has a contact person to call about Toastmasters. So this is for you to take with you. Pass these out. Distribute them. That'll help get people to your club. Put your club information on there. Yes, Melissa?
A way to also benefit from this is you are sticking this up because somebody might not have something to write with whenever they run into this at the health club or at Panera Bread or wherever else. Make little slips on the bottom that you can tear off so they can take with it. Make sure you don't just put a phone number on it. Make sure you write Toastmasters so they know what that piece of paper is that's in their pocket.
Yeah, the flyers that you have on the website are good at that because they have that on there as far as having a place for your phone number or contact information. So what is something key either the Toastmaster or president can do during or at the beginning of any general meeting that has guests?
Well, we can always open the meeting, good, whatever, welcome fellow Toastmasters and guests. Getting back to this sheet, this for the Sally Boggs Club, this sheet goes out in all of our meetings. I happen to be the contact person for it. You know, we just fill in our day and time and everything where we meet so that they have something to know to come back to us.
I think it's important to extend that and to make sure that you identify and welcome the guests individually if possible, by name I mean, not just a general welcome guest.
I agree. But generally what we do in our club, or at least what we try to do, I believe all of the officers, and really everybody in your club, should do this. When a guest comes into the room, again, specifically weighing this on the officers, to go up to that person, greet them, ask them their name, introduce them to the other officers in the club. And if you have multiple guests, one of those officers should offer to sit next to that guest. So if they have any questions or just so they don't get isolated, isolated. Sometimes when you have a big room, maybe they'll sit down and nobody else sits down around them. If you have that, again, the officers sit down next to them. Any other ideas?
Is there any information that we should hand out to our guests? Everybody speak at once. I don't know who to call on. Linda.
How about a visitor card?
Visitor card?
Signed the logbook and a name tag.
Good idea. Visitor card and name tag.
Just make sure that they know who the VP of membership is.
VP of membership, sure. Should talk to them when they get to the club.
We got a folder that has the old Toastmaster magazines in it, as well as membership forms and other PR stuff about it.
Good idea, like a guest packet?
Yes.
Yeah, guest packet's a great idea. The one thing that we always do at the Sally Boggs meeting, whenever we have a guest, we offer to let them participate in the table topics portion of our meeting.
Okay, good idea. I have some guest packets here that I'm going to pass out. These are not for you to take with you. These are actually the districts. I have 6 different guest packets. This was part of a guest packet contest. So if you'd like to just take a look at them and pass them around and share them, and please just get them back to me when we're done. And it'll give you some ideas and some examples of some different guest packets that different clubs are using. And you know what, let me, because there's so many of them, let me just pass it around. Take two.
Is anybody here good in vocabulary? Word of the day type material? Does anybody know what the word argot means?
Spell it?
A-R-G-O-T. I did not know the meaning of this.
Anybody know the meaning of it? $1 million question?
You have $1 million?
No.
No one has some M&Ms.
I have 50 cents or M&Ms. You take your pick.
All right. Argot is a specialized vocabulary peculiar to a particular group of people, devised for private communication and identification. So is it good to, when you have guests at a meeting, to use language that is specific to Toastmasters without defining it?
No.
When you, sorry, Nancy, pass that back. No. A lot of times you'll get in a groove of speaking in front of the group and talking about CCs and talking about your day here at TLI and introducing Steve as an ACB and whatnot. Be careful when you have guests at the meeting, the language that you're using, the words, again, as we talked about at the beginning. When you have a guest there, not only to watch as far as those things, but as far as your meetings in general, explaining the rules of what is going on. Word of the day, sometimes you don't have to explain that, that's maybe pretty obvious. But again, we'd like to, as the Toastmaster goes through the meeting, to explain the rules. Some clubs have the person doing the role explain what they're going to do, so whatever you feel more comfortable with. But again, explaining those things as the meeting goes along.
So engaging them.
Okay, any more ideas as far as, say, hand up already?
I always make sure I include them in the meeting notes for the week so that they know contact information, so the guest has a complete idea of what happened, you know, that they have a little summary of everything, because it's a little bewildering, everything that came at them, and it's nice for them to kind of go, oh yeah, that's who it was, and that's who I talked to, and now they have contact information so they can get back to us.
And you send it out by email?
Right, I send them meeting notes within 3 or 4 days to everybody, and I include all guests.
Okay, yeah, not all groups do that, but your secretary, I think that's actually one of their duties, is to take notes during the meeting. And it's a great way to, again, send that out to the entire membership the day after, a couple days after that. Again, if they weren't at the meeting, it kind of stirs some interest. It keeps everybody, the club information in front of them all the time. Yes, sir?
We've spoken of attracting members and engaging them. At Esquimalt, we try to bridge that by offering to meet members before the meeting and walking into the room with them. Because a lot of people, we believe, are intimidated to walk into a group of strangers and try to introduce themselves or find the person.
Well, that's a great idea. Get them, encourage them to get there early so that you can explain what they're going to experience. That's a great idea.
And piggybacking on what he said, another thing that came to mind is what not to do. If someone's coming brand new, they're walking in, they want to be a better speaker, they may be already shy to be in front of people. Don't, when you're first starting your meeting, and we have a special guest, and what's your name, and why don't you say, would you like to say a few words? No, they don't. They're just checking it out. It's the first time, they don't even know what this is about. And then another thing is, don't overwhelm them with literature. If you have your packet, you know, that can be a very welcome, just a tickler. Don't overwhelm with, oh, here's all the books, and here's the forms, and here's all the stuff, and this is all the, because they're still new, they're still like checking it out.
Yeah,
So
and to
take
add,
some of that.
Aaron, and to add to that, Amy, does anybody ask them to join from the lectern, or do you ask them to join afterwards?
You can't ask for a commitment before you teach the interest.
Well, in public, making somebody stand up in front of the room, are you going to join today? It's much more personal if you're having that conversation one-on-one. I agree with her 100%.
It's intimidating for if, let's say, I'm the guest at your Toastmasters meeting, and you stand up there and say, Luella, would you like to join Toastmasters? I'm a little bit petrified at this moment.
You're right, and that, again, that's where it begins with, a lot of times, if it's a personal invitation, and if you are the one, again, if you personally invite somebody that has a great idea to meet them, take them to the club so they don't back down, and then typically what I would do is after the meeting, ask them if they'd like to join. Have you seen the interest? Again, that's part of as getting them there to begin with, giving them that interest, piquing their interest, as you just said, and showing them the value. Because if you truly believe the value of Toastmasters, if you receive value yourself, hopefully you will learn enough as far as communication to be able to communicate that to your guests. They will be more likely to say yes when you ask them to join. Because a lot of people, if you don't ask them, I know different people have different views on this. Some people say, oh, you can come back as a guest as many times as you want. But a lot of people kind of need that little bit of a nudge and that true invite, that true asking directly if they want to join. Because again, I know the value I receive from it. I want people to join because I want to see their growth also.
I would add that I agree with you that we need to invite them to join.
Correct.
But I also think that we want to make sure that they are aware that they're welcome to come back, whether or not they join.
Oh, no, I agree with you. Correct. We had somebody in our club that he almost made it seem like that was a thing to do. Just come as a guest, save your money, just be a guest for as many times as you want. And I agree with that, you're allowed to be a guest, but again, you want to get them to join so they can get their feet rolling, start to participate, get their books.
Okay. I know there are some members who don't want to join the first time. They want to see what's going on.
Absolutely. Some people, yeah, definitely will not join, no matter what you say, no matter what they thought. They like to take it slow.
When I go through a new area, a lot of times I like to go to different clubs to see which one I want. The best one.
Okay, $1 million question. What is, and I only have 50 cents on $1 million. What is the one thing that you really need to ask a guest or a visitor? Joe.
Did you like the meeting? What did you think of our meeting?
That's good.
How can we help you?
How can we help you?
Why are they there to begin with? What are their goals?
Why are they there? What are their goals? How can we help you? Yes. Why are they there and how can we help you? M&Ms or 50 cents? Yeah, why are they there? Because what? People, all things can be achieved through Toastmasters, right? Everything. All of your goals, all of your dreams can be achieved through Toastmasters. So you want to find out what brought them there. Because if you find out what brought them there and they tell you this is why I came, then you can say, oh yeah, we can do that for you. Because whether you want to be a better cook, or whether you want to be a better presenter, or whether you want to get better at standing in front of people, or whatever it is, Toastmasters is the solution, right? Because if you want to be a better cook, you can put speeches together about cooking, and then you're teaching and presenting about cooking, so you can become a better cook. So I'm here to tell you, I think all things can be achieved through Toastmasters. And you have to ask that question. Why are you here? What brought you here? And when they tell you, that's what we do. We're the solution. You found the right place. You're in the right place. Here's a guest packet. There's an application in there. Think about it. We'd like you to join. And make them feel special, because words matter, right? Words matter. So make them feel that we would really like you to be a part of our group. We would really like you to join our organization, because we think that you bring, and whatever special thing that they're wearing or that they said, we think you bring something special to our group, to our club. So we would really like you to join. Words matter.
Yeah, don't sound desperate. Don't say, oh, we really need you to join because our membership's down and we need to get this award by June, so we need a new member. But again, as Steve's saying, the way you talk about that as in the background, you are gaining leadership skills. These are one of the things you don't think about. Oh, I'm the treasurer or whatever the case may be. I'm doing this. But all of this gets wrapped up in that big bundle of why Toastmasters is now has the new motto is where leaders are born. It's not just to come and have communication skills. All of these things get wrapped up into, at the end of the year or a few years down the road when you've gone through this, that you look back and say, wow, I've really developed a lot of different skills.
Well, one thing I do as president is when I'm introducing the guests or having the guests introduce themselves at the beginning of the meeting, I make sure to write down their names so at the end of the meeting I can ask, would you like to say something? How would you like our meeting? And name them rather than just everyone.
Good idea. Both of those, using their name, remembering their name or writing it down, and at the end of the meeting, as you should anyways, ask if anybody has any questions, and certainly the guests. A lot of them, again, will not, but they say they won't have any questions because they don't want to ask something stupid in front of the group or quote stupid. So don't forget to approach them. Again, the membership chair, whoever the VP of membership or the president, go to them after the meeting and ask them again on one-on-one basis. Yeah.
Okay, we talked about getting them there. You have to publicize, they have to know about you somehow. So whether it's Toastmasters.org, whether it's your website, whether it's a personal invitation, a brochure, a card in a magazine or a library book, they have to find out about you. So you have to get them there, and then once they're there, you need to engage them. We talked about that with guest packets, with asking them what brought them there, why are they here, how can we help you? And now we want to talk about, once they're there, how do we keep them? How do we keep them as members? Because we know it is a fact that we lose about half of our members every year. So how do we keep them?
Make them get involved.
Make them get involved. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. We elected a treasurer the very first day that this gentleman came.
That may be pushing it, Steve.
And it may be, you know what? But I can remember when I first joined Toastmasters, I was asked to be the treasurer after about 3 or 4 months as a member. And when I got that phone call, I felt really honored. I felt really special that somebody asked me to be their treasurer of the club. And you're getting people involved. You're making them feel special. You're making them feel like a part of something larger. So, get them involved. Make them feel special. It'll help keep them around. And they're going to learn and benefit as well.
Yeah, part of that kind of goes right into that. Being involved can also be worded as kind of gives them ownership. Even if, again, not asking them necessarily to be an officer the first day they walk in, but as they join or even come back as a guest, hey, can you help me set up the room? Can you help me do something minor? And then again, as they're members, the officers can maybe ask them to do just help them with one small part of a role. I mean, I don't mean like a meeting role as far as that, but as far as maybe helping with the agenda, something like that, because once you get that ownership, you will more than likely stay with the group that you belong to.
I think this is where the mentor program comes into play too. It really is about keeping them in, I guess it's a little bit of a previous step too, engaging them, but when they have questions or they're beginning to think, I'm not sure if I'm getting out of this what I wanted, the mentor really, I think, needs to, thank you very much, take a proactive role and just call them up once in a while and say, hey, you want to meet at Starbucks or something and share a coffee, talk about Toastmasters, how it's going for you so far. Really be out there and engage.
Absolutely. Mentors are big because we get that check-off list. All right, we got a new member. And then a month later, where'd Joe go? Well, we kind of forgot about him because we were worried about the next new person. So mentors are very big and, of course, following up on that.
Asking them to, in the first meeting, to do a table topic speech.
Yeah, we invite all of our guests, encourage them, don't force them, but certainly get them involved right off the bat. Get maybe some butterflies out, and again, maybe be more encouraged to keep coming.
After you get them in there a while, get them to set a goal. When am I going to complete the competent communicator? Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone who's working on that goal to get it done by a certain date isn't going to quit because they're working their way through the program rather than just meandering through it.
And some people, yeah, they're not going to know coming in, is this going to take me 5 years to get to that point? So again, it kind of flows with that mentoring and talking it through how fast you want to go through.
That's fantastic.
Francine?
Big commitment. And I just want to add one thing to that, Mike.
$50, I hope.
What's that?
50 cents, I hope.
Mike.
I'll take it.
No. Go back. I deserve that.
My bad, I threw that in.
I just wanted to add to what you said. Once they are on their way to their CC, I think it's important to plant the seed at speech number 8 that, hey, we've got all these other manuals. We've got 20 other manuals. What manuals do you want to get next? What manuals do you want to start working? Where's your interest lie? Is it public relations? Is it speaking in front of the television? What manuals are you going to send away for once you get your CC, so that you're planting that seed, so they're not going to just get their CC and then leave. Francine.
Adding on to both what you and Mike said, it's not only important to have them set a goal, but work with your VP and schedule those speeches. Put them out in a futuristic calendar and make them accountable. Because it's great to set a goal. You can say, I want to get my CC in 1 year or 2 years, but if you don't have that accountability as to, oops, I am scheduled 6 weeks from now to do a speech, I better get prepared, you may be more likely not to maintain that year-end goal. So I think setting smaller goals, short-term goals, against that long-term goal, but also people engaged.
To add on top of what just Francine had said, depending on the personality of the person that you're working with, competition is a wonderful thing. The only reason I got to my CC as fast as I did is there was somebody else in my club, and we were almost sparring partners. It was great. It's like, haha, got number 5 done. And it was great because although he did leave after his CC, it was wonderful because it was almost like that brother-sister argument of who's going to get there first. It was fabulous, and it made me focus on things that, even though I was in an officer role, I was doing membership and PR at the same time. I would probably focus more on doing that and forgetting my speeches had I not had that person egging me on. And so don't be afraid to do that. And Steve and I wrote at the same levels. We didn't have to
challenge. Actually, there's a question back here.
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to mention is the evaluations portion of the meeting. That's a great way to go and actually help people out, because a lot of people, well, they join Toastmasters to improve themselves, so making sure that those evaluations, matching the people who are giving that evaluations with the speakers so that they can improve based on where their level is, that's really key.
And one of the things that I found in my Toastmasters experience is that I feel that it's important when you have a guest or a new member to let the guest or new member know that the evaluation is one person's opinion, and that each person in that audience would come up and give a different evaluation of that speech, and that this is just one perspective and one person's opinion. Because sometimes a new member or a guest might get scared off if they feel the evaluation is harsh, or the evaluation goes in a different direction. So I tend to preface that with it's one person's opinion.
I've got 2 points. One, when your new member gets to their 5th speech, has their 5th speech done, congratulate them. They're halfway through their CC. Now I forgot what I was going to say in conjunction with what you were saying.
Okay, while you're thinking about that, I just wanted to
I just wanted to add one more thing. I mean, I think it's nice to have the goals and the evaluation. Don't forget the fun part of it. I'm thinking of you guys. You know, make it fun. You're throwing out candy and everything, and everyone wants to come to Toastmasters, but sometimes they do feel a little intimidated. But if you could throw in some fun elements during the meeting, and it could be any field, I think that might be a little helpful drawing part for them to come there.
I think that's just one of the most important points, is that the meeting, that does need to be fun. It needs to be a place where people are going to enjoy themselves and feel relaxed, and because you learn more when you're relaxed. You learn more when you're having fun and you're enjoying yourself. So I think that's a great point. I just wanted to take a larger view of the TLI today, in that this is part of the DCP, the Distinguished Club Program, which is 10 goals that clubs have to work towards. And this is the goal number 7 and goal number 8, membership. Getting new members, bringing new members into your club. And the other goal that we're presenting on today is is half of goal 10. And I'll let Ed just share a point about half of goal 10.
Excuse me. Yeah, being the treasurer, how many treasurers do we have in the room? Okay, so we've talked about it. Everybody's excited. We have engaged members. What happens twice a year? What do you need to do?
Get their money.
Absolutely. Thank you, Benny. 2 things. Obviously, you need to do that to keep it going, but as far as specifically for the DCP, is to get those dues in your hand, put your money in the bank, or some of the corporate clubs don't collect corporate dues, but they certainly have to have their dues, however that's handled. You need to get those people registered through your website to International. And as far as the goal part, having those done by the deadlines of April, am I saying that right? April 30th, right, Benny? March 31st and September, I'm sorry, September 3rd. So to get those in, and you don't have to have everybody in your club. A lot of times you don't realize that. I think it's very small, 6 people, right? So once you get 6 dues paid, get those people signed up online or re-sign up online. You will earn that, at least half of that award for that portion of the year. So again, it's important, obviously, to have the great meetings, but you need to get that money collected. I start a month before, have it announced. There's things as the treasurer, you can send out emails. I'm not sure if the new website has this. The old Free Toast Hosts had this. You can actually send out an invoice through the website that will actually have a invoice on it, and you can also keep track of who paid and who didn't pay online. And some people in the public clubs do get reimbursed through their corporations. So to have that official invoice in their hand is meaningful, whether you do it through the website or do your own. I know Benny had done that before in our club. So it's nice to have that piece of paper for your own records, tax records, or to get reimbursed from your club. So again, it's very important to get those people, once you get those minimum, those first 6, get them online so you can get that part of that DCP.
Yeah, just to reinforce what Ed said, when you're asking for dues, ask early and be personable. Be personable. Don't just say, hey, we need your money. You know, hey, pay your dues. You know, just be personal, because words matter. Talk to, because people are coming to Toastmasters for different reasons. They're coming to connect with individuals. They're coming to learn, and you know, and talk to them. Be personable and ask for the dues and be persistent. and
don't wait till the dues are due if somebody's not showing up. Call them ahead of time to make sure that, are you okay? We missed you at Toastmasters. We'd love to see you again. You know, you've got 8 speeches done. I'd love to see you do that CC. You know, dues are coming up, hey, next month, but why don't you come to the next meeting? Yeah. If you're not there, I'm going to call you again.
And it's so important to pick up the phone and do that, because with email, it's just so easy to ignore for so many of us. So to send an email and then reinforce it with a phone call, I think means a little bit more.
Now, again, as I said, I'm from a public club. We always talk about the value. And again, I think it's a good thing to do throughout the year, so it's not when you come to dues time, you're trying to catch up. We talk about the value, obviously personally, what you gain out of it. We talk a lot about in our club, just coming to the meetings, if you don't even participate, hearing all the different stories and all the different speeches, the value we get just out of those speeches is more than the value of the dues to begin with. So trying to create that value constantly, but again, as you're collecting the dues, $100 a year, whatever it is minimal compared to any other seminar, or heck, buy a few books, self-help books, and you're almost at that amount. So the value, explain that value and try to reiterate that as you go along. But I'm interested in the corporate clubs. A lot of people, again, in the corporate world, the companies are paying their dues for them. Is there a way that you explain the value when you're not out of pocket? Trevor or anybody from a corporate club? Any ideas? Just force them to come to the meetings and say...
No, I mean, one other thing that I know as the Bear Club, a lot of the people have the goals for this, to meet a certain goal on their PMP. But we also reinforce that, hey, look, you're getting your dues paid for. Another way we do it is say, look, we pay this much for you each year. We try to encourage them to come to these events because what we pay in those dues is more than what they would pay to come to some of these events and participate. And, you know, we compare that because as a corporation, they send out emails, hey, for $350 you can go to this 2-day course and learn how to speak like a genius. But compare that to what you really get in the working through the CC program. Makes a bigger difference than just going for a weekend.
Okay, we're out of time, but as far as the guest packets, I know everybody probably didn't get a chance to see all of them, but if you want to see me at lunch or after lunch, you want to take a look at some of the guest packets and get some ideas and examples, we would love to share them with you. So with that, I think this section is over. For those of you going to Russell's section, he is right next door here. Oh my God, none of you are going